Hey guys, what's going on? So I wanted to really quickly talk about the two updates that they just gave us. Most of it I talked about in my previous video, so I won't go through everything. If you want to go see that video, it's definitely there, where I talk about Clown, and I talk about most of the things that are said right here. But I do want to point out one thing. In terms of this post, if you don't know, Rush Royale has a Discord. You should definitely join their Discord so that you can see everybody hate everything in the comment section. It's really entertaining, and that's the main reason why you should definitely do it. I see there was nothing we agree on, but I stop now before I get muted again. Yeah, like that's the best part of being on the Rush Royale Discord. It's just seeing everybody hate everything and think that the developers are just greedy and out here to take everybody's money and they don't care about the customers. It's the best part of the best reason for subscribing to their Discord. But they did talk about the things that I talked about in that video based off of A-Friend Gaming's patch notes. The common, rare, and epic talents will be available at earlier stages in the game. But something that I wanted to point out that everybody was getting really mad about, the cost of Ascension for them will also be reduced both in gold and in cores. With Ascension for common units, you will need gold only. That's incredibly interesting. And I want to touch on this really quick because the reason why people were getting angry was because they wanted to be compensated for the amount of cores that they spent on common units. Now, my thoughts on that, suck it up. There was somebody in the comments that was like, well, now I'm never going to upgrade anything ever again because you're just going to do this again. And I won't have wasted cores. It's like, okay, you can choose to do that, right? Choose to have weaker units right now because you think that somewhere down the line, stuff will become cheaper and, you know, like you want to save your resources for why, right? But the thing is, it's kind of like saying, like, I'm a big movie guy, and I watch a lot of movies, and Avengers Endgame was one of the biggest movies ever, right? Everybody, as soon as Avengers Endgame came out, everybody saw it. Look up the box office opening day numbers, opening weekend numbers, they're insane. And then that movie made $1 billion. That movie is currently on Disney Plus, and essentially you can see it for free. People that have Disney Plus aren't asking for a refund for their ticket. Oh, I could see this for free now. Like, you should refund me the price of my ticket that I used to see it early. It's like, no. The benefit of seeing it early and being a part of the conversation is what you're also getting for your payment, right? Yes, it might be free down the line, quote unquote free down the line because you have a Disney Plus subscription, but now you have to wait. Now you have the ability to get spoiled. Now you have the ability to not be a part of the conversation because by the time you finally watch it, when it's quote unquote free on Disney Plus, it's already old news. We've already moved on to 5, 6 other Marvel movies, and now you're behind, right? So one of the benefits of getting things is that you get them early. If you already had the talents unlocked, you got them earlier than people who have not. And now this is essentially just helping people start the game and maybe stay in the game so that this entire game doesn't just solely become about people that are in, 10,000, 9,000 trophy area. It creates new people. And that's their entire purpose in doing this. So if you feel like starting a new account because you're so offended that you don't get cores and gold, right, as compensation, you can feel free to start a new account and you'll get all of these benefits. You will only have to use gold. But that will just make your journey on your new account easier. But now in your advanced account where you already have all the things, you already have all the things. Stop complaining. Like those are my thoughts on them not compensating you. And I understand that when they changed the goalpost from when they went from 10 and then they went to 15, they compensated us for gold. And I understand that they gave us gold and they applied the amount of like units that you had at max. They applied it so that you could upgrade your old units that you had maxed out at 10 to maybe 11, 12, 13. They refunded you gold and they refunded you units. And that's how you were then able to upgrade your units to the current total, which is 15. And I understand that, but I feel like you should see that as a nice thing. That they didn't have to do that at all. They could have just let your account be whatever it was and then said, hey, go from 10 to 15. But people were trying to use that against the developers, and I think that's wrong thinking. I think that if you already have all of these talents, you've used up all of your gold, and you've been able to play with these cards, that's your benefit of doing it early. You got to do it. You had the resources. People that don't have the resources are now more likely to stay because now they can upgrade their units that are weaker because those are their best units. And that's how I feel about that. I just wanted to touch on that really quick. Everything else was basically everything that I talked about from before. They're changing all of the talents. And the thing that I'm most excited about that is the how that's going to work for like Royal Trials. If they're going to change the levels on Royal Trials and how that's going to affect the meta. Because that's going to be really interesting. Because so for common units, the talents of the first will be available at 5, 8, and 11, as opposed to what it is currently at 9, 11, 13? Everything's at 9, 11, 13. So it'll be 5, 8, and 11. And then for rare and epics, it's going to be 7, 10, and 15, as opposed to 9, 13, 15. And that makes it easier for, again, new players to upgrade their stuff and get talents for weaker units. And I think that'll make gameplay for them much easier. You'll be able to get better talents quicker. But I am interested in how that's going to affect the how they do the leveling in something like Royal Trials. But that'll be interesting. And then they talk about Clown, which I already went through in that other in the other post. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up is their newest post, which is the New Year's event. Again, if you have the Discord, you can totally read all of this or screenshot this and then screenshot this. And essentially, it is the Sinister Party event. And if you don't know what the Sinister Party event is, I have 2 videos on it. If you scroll back, this one, my final thoughts and future recommendations, and then my thoughts on 22.1 and the Sinister Party, you can go watch those. Essentially, I break down everything that the Sinister Party event was, and essentially it is going to be the exact same thing. So really quickly, in a text kind of form, I will talk about it. Essentially, the Sinister Party event was they gave you a what's it called? A point system in the same way that Royal Trials and all of those events are. They have a point system. They also had a store, and then they also had quests. So it basically took over all of Rush Royale. So PvP was changed because in PvP you had modifiers, and those modifiers changed every like 3 days or something. And so you had different really cool like unique modifiers. And then you had event quests that you also unlocked through the pass, the Sinister Party event pass. And so essentially it was basically like if everything in Rush Royale, this is taking forever, it's basically as if everything in Rush Royale was all going towards the same thing. So you had a point system that looked like this, where you had the premium pass side, which is the pay side, and then you had the free side. And essentially, what you were doing was every time you completed quests, you got points, or I'm sorry, you got I think it was like cookies that you exchanged for a collection. And then those collections, when you collected like 5 things, those would accumulate to points that then went into this point system. And with the old one, once you got to 500 event tokens, there was a store that you could then buy the legendary, which was Riding Hood. But you had to save every single ounce of your tokens, not buy it on anything else, so that you could save specifically for the event unit, which is going to be the genie. And then the way that you got points, and then so with the cookies that or the candies that you exchanged for it, there were so many like layers of this thing. Once you got candies that you traded for cards and you completed collections, that was one way and then using those collections to obtain points to get tokens. This sounds so silly when I say it out loud. Once you did all of that, and that was one way to get the legendary event. The other way was spins on the wheel, and so there were quests similar to how they are doing quests here. You had quests per day. And I think it was essentially like in your quest tab. And once you completed all of those quests, you got spins on a wheel. That wheel is unlocked if you get the pass. So if you get the pass, you will have access to when you get 100 spins. When you do 100 spins, you will obtain the event hero. You had the ability, whenever you spun the wheel, you could get a bunch of different free things. You could get gold. You could get token fragments. There was a bunch of random things that you could get, like common units, rare units, epic units, some amount of each. Rare heroes, epic heroes. You could get, with one spin, you could get 5 spins. So like you spin the wheel, and then you get you obtain a 5 spin, so then you could then spin the wheel 5 more times, and you had to add up to 100. And once you added up to 100, you had to buy the pass. And again, there was only the one pass, but you had to buy the pass in order to unlock the event hero. So then you could get, well, again, back then it was Riding Hood, but you needed to get 100 spins. So that was a second way to get the event. And then there was also a third way, and it was if you made it all the way to the top of the event, if you got enough points. So further down, there was like a 500, and then you could use that and then use it and then buy it in the store. And that's the first original way that I was able to do it. But what ended up happening was, so like, let's say the 500 was right here. But to get to the top, I needed gems to buy essentially the rest of my way. And then in terms of spins on the wheel, because I didn't luck out in one of my, like 80 spins, because you have like a 2% chance of whenever you spin the wheel, you could get the event unit. Because I never lucked out, I think I obtained like 80 spins, even doing all the quests from the beginning, doing all of the things, buying the pass. I was like 20 spins away to get the hero. So not only was I not able to get the rest of the points, to get the event hero the second way, but I didn't have enough spins to get it the third way. So what I'm trying to say is, in one of my videos, my problem with the event was not that for the most part, I love the event and I think that it's great. And I think that they give you a lot of free things, but for the pay side, it's counterintuitive to say that, oh, if you just buy, the pass, you can get the event hero and you do all the quests and you do all the things and you do everything correct for 17 days. You will get one event, unit, but the other 2 ways you have to spend a little bit more. So when I originally had my thoughts on the Sinister event, my final thought was save your gems, because all I needed was about 500 gems and I was able to buy my way into, I think, the 20 extra spins. That's all I needed. And all I needed was the 20 extra spins to get the event hero that way, because I had 80 spins over the course of the event. And then with 20 extra spins at 500 gems, I was able to do the extra and then get the other legendary. But I didn't have 500 gems. And what I ended up doing was I had to buy and literally pay for gems in order to get another legendary. I have since saved a bunch of gems. This has been a godsend. Just being able to, them giving you gems for all of this. If you haven't spent them, don't. Just save all of these gems, because that's how this event's going to work. You're going to have to spend $10, I think, for the premium side pass. Do it immediately so that you can get all of the quests, complete all of your quests every day. Save up your event tokens, find out how much the event hero is going to be, save all of your event tokens, and then try to add them up and see how far you need to take the tokens in order to get the event unit. And that leads into the second thing that I want to talk about, because there is an extra sentence that they decided to add to this one that differentiates it with the Sinister Party. And I think it's very interesting. It's very interesting if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Don't forget to visit the dedicated event shop. You will find a lot of interesting stuff there. The genie is there, of course, but also magic crystals. Do not buy magic crystals. Magic dust. Definitely don't buy magic dust. Or universal cards for different collections. There's a part of me that thinks that this means, and I could be wrong, there's a part of me that thinks when they say universal cards for different collections, that makes me think that there might be targeted legendaries. Like maybe for Forest Faction, there's a Dryad. And then for Magic Council, there's an Enchant Sword or a Witch. And then for Kingdom of Light, you have a Knight statue. And then for Technogenic, you have Scrapper, right? Or Dark, you might have like a Harley Quinn. If that's the case, there is a giant part of me that says, seriously consider that unit instead of Genie. And I feel like this might be a controversial opinion. But I have a level 8 Riding Hood. Because like I said, I got the freeway. Or the quote-unquote freeway. You definitely have to spend the $10 or whatever to buy the event pass. But then I also had to pay to get more gems to complete it the second way. So I currently have a level 8 Riding Hood. Now, Riding Hood at max level is the best unit in this game. That and like Demon Hunter right now. They're both getting nerfed. They're still going to be good. But Riding Hood at max is the best unit in this game. It's not the best unit in this game at level 8. And even if I got Riding Hood all 3 ways, that I'd have a level 9 Riding Hood. I'm not taking that into battle against a level 15 cultist. Because people have a level 15 cultist. Or a level 15 Dryad. I'm sorry, not Dryad. Level 15 Bruiser. Or a level 15, Blade Dancer. Or a level 15 Monk. Or a level 15 Spirit Master. Right? When you get these cards, you're going to have them at a very, very low level. And for you to eventually use them, they kind of have to be at 15. Like, they have to be at something reasonably high in order for you to take it into like PvP and do anything with it, really. Like, you probably have some better unit than what you would get this unit at. I'm assuming if you're not one of those people that have a level 15 Riding Hood already. Because if you're one of those people, you're probably going to get a level 15 Genie, and this video is not for you. But if what I think is correct, and they're actively giving you a choice of a different legendary in the shop that might be an influential legendary in each of the different factions, as opposed to the Genie, I might do that instead. Because that sounds like a much better usage of my time than getting a level 7 Genie just to have a level 7 Genie. Because that's all, in all honesty, that's the only reason why I'd be doing it. It's the only reason why I even spent more money to get the Riding Hood, the extra copy of Riding Hood. It was just to have Riding Hood. Just to say, I have all the cards. I have Riding Hood. I have all the cards. Like, I've never used it. I'm sorry, I maybe have used it once on a stream, and that's it. I've never gone back to it. If instead they decide to give you a Witch, or like you have the option to get a Dryad, or a Harley Quinn, or I don't know, like a Demon Hunter, like if they decide to have further options in that store, and one of those options is a different legendary that you theoretically might have more copies and might be more leveled up than a level 7 newest, out of the box unit, I might do that instead. Like, if it's something that I need, if it's a Dryad or a Witch, or like all of these power units that are in every dex right now, like a Summoner, I think I'd rather have that than a level 7 Genie. And it's just something to think about. It's just something that I noticed in their wording. And if that's the case, we're going to talk again. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the event. That's my suggestion. My suggestion, if, and all the signs point that this is going to be like the Sinister Party event. My suggestion is save your gems, because you're going to need your gems at the end of this event, because you are going to be very close to getting extra legendaries. But even buying the pass at the very beginning of the event, it's still going to be a struggle, and it's going to be borderline impossible, because that's how they've built the event, which is smart. It's a smart way to do it. I'm just saying that when I got surprised with it at the end of the Sinister Party event, it felt very scummy. But knowing it ahead of time, and knowing, like how many gems I would probably need, and the fact that they just gave you just a giant quantity of gems, from this, I think that it's less scummy. But yeah, save $10 so that you can buy the pass. Save gems so that you can get the potential for the other 2 legendaries potentially. But yeah, those are my thoughts.